The book of Joshua is a book of new beginnings. There was new leadership for the Israelites. They were living in a new place in the promised land that God had led them to, and new beginnings. They're full of excitement. It allows you to dream, maybe think that things will be better than they had been. But I don't know that any Israelite would have said that as they go through the book of Joshua. The book of Joshua starts with a new beginning, but then the new beginning brings challenge after challenge after challenge after challenge. Some not so simple, some pretty heartbreaking. And maybe you know what that's like. You've probably had hopes that by now we would have had a new beginning with where things are with COVID, with sickness, with hatred, with anger, with crime, with injustice. But so often it seems it's just more and more of the same. Not the same old good things, but the same old challenge to find something good to smile about each day. That's why the wonderful theme of Joshua is worth considering. It's a theme that you see over and over again and again as you read through its pages. A theme of promise after promise after promise that God makes and that God keeps. Joshua is not only a book of new beginnings, it's a book of promises kept. Which is why it's kind of fitting that in the first 6 verses of the book of Joshua, there are at least 8, depending on how you count them, 8 different promises that God gives. All of them good. All of them directed towards His people. But I want to highlight just one of them. It's a promise He gave just to Joshua. When He brought up Moses, He said, "Joshua, do you remember how I was with Moses? Do you remember all that I did through him? Do you remember how I protected him? Do you remember how I loved him? Do you remember how I spoke to him? Do you remember, through those 40 years, nothing got the best of him because I was with him?" Joshua, as I was with Moses, I will be with you. I will never leave you. I will never abandon you. And as He was with Joshua, that same God is with you. That's the promise He kept. When He hung His Son on a cross and gave us a new beginning, the beginning of having the right to call ourselves God's own children, purchased by the blood of Jesus, redeemed from every sin, redeemed from the power of the devil, redeemed from the power of death itself, to be friends and brothers. With a God who lives, with a God that death has to answer to. As He was with Moses, as He was with Joshua, whether your life is feeling like a new beginning or the same old challenges, He is also with you. He will never leave you. He will never abandon you. Rest well tonight, my friends.